Michael, I'll send you a link. Well, we're broadcasting. Welcome. We've got Greg Darden, me, and my brother Michael Quessenberry, and we're going to discuss the Big at MEM project. For those of you that don't know what that is, that's the Bitcoin investment group at Memphis in May barbecue contest. We're still getting a few things set up. We may have some other hosts join us in just a few minutes. Let's get Michael hooked up on the call. There he is. Looks like he's there. Michael, you with us? Hold on one second. There you go.
Can you hear me, Lee?
I got you.
Awesome.
I may have to edit some of this out, but we're ready to roll. So get a little echo from Michael and Mike.
Am I still with you guys?
You're still there. We've got might be Greg's here. Michael, can you get your mic really quick? Let's see if I can still hear myself. Yeah. All right. That's what it is. I can hear myself through Michael's headset. It's a very sensitive microphone, I think. We have 0 viewers at the moment. Let's get everybody in here. I'm posting the event as well. That must have been me.
Yep.
All right, let's get this thing on the road. If anybody wants to jump in, they can. We're live. My name is Lee Quessenberry. Behind me is my brother, Michael Quessenberry. He's muted at the moment. Whenever we have questions that are directed towards him or that he needs to answer, we'll remind him to unmute his microphone. So, and I'd also like to introduce Greg Darden. Greg is one of the big members, big members, and he is one of the people that is my right-hand man on trying to get this barbecue team going. And I guess today, for those of you that don't know much about a barbecue competition or what it all means or what we're even doing this for, this is for you. I regret that Gareth can't join us because he's sick. He really had a bunch of questions he wanted to ask us, but we'll just go ahead and roll on without him and probably do a part 2 since this thing is a few months down the road. To get started, I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm Lee Quessenberry. I am a web developer. I'm from Jonesboro, Arkansas. I am the founder of BTCtoast.com and one of the contributors to BigBullion.co, with Gerald Wilkie. We're going to try our best to do these podcasts as much as we can to keep the big group informed and pumped up about positive projects that are going on in the community. My brother Michael and I have been cooking competition barbecue since we were 7 and 5 years old, respectively, and I just figured, growing up in that environment, having the barbecue competition background with as big as those kind of parties and get-togethers are, that why not make a team that competes in Memphis in May, the World Championship of Barbecue, that's 100% founded and funded by Bitcoin. So the reason we're doing this is to be funded 100% by Bitcoin, to get the word out there for the big community, and to promote BTCtoast, BIGreport.io, bring Gareth and all of you other non-United States citizen members over and show you a good time. And it's just a big excuse to drink beer and eat barbecue on the banks of the mighty Mississippi River. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my brother and let him tell you a little bit about himself and his background in barbecue as well. So Michael, take it away.
Can you hear me? Awesome. As Lee said, I'm his brother, of course, and basically we've been barbecuing pretty much our whole lives. We grew up in it, and we're also both, we like tech stuff. Our dad taught us how to use, back in the day, like Commodore 64, like basic code and that kind of thing. And so we were brought up in both tech and barbecue, and I think that this is a great opportunity to support both of those things. So that's a little bit about me. Take it away, Lee.
All right, I'm going to pass the torch to Greg. He likes to remain low-key, but at least want him to say a little bit about himself and where he comes from.
Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Darden. I come from the great state of California, but I currently live on the East Coast in New Jersey. I am a contributing member of the Big Investment Group, one of the core members, and our focus is to basically expand the word and spread knowledge about Bitcoin while enjoying barbecue, because what more do people like than good food, good friends, and fun? And we can do all that with Bitcoin. And hopefully, with Michael being a barbecue world champion, we can bring home a nice big trophy for him again this year. And I'll sponsor this every year. Okay, Lee.
All right. Hey, a little caveat there. Michael and I are the sons of a world champion. So we're not technically world champions yet, but that's what we're going to do in May of 2015. So anyway, we
bring the championship home.
We're going to bring the championship home, but it's going to be worldwide. And that's one of the cool things about Memphis in May, is they usually sponsor another country outside of the United States each year. And I'm not 100% sure on what country is being sponsored this year, but I know in the past they've sponsored Costa Rica, Ireland. And when I say sponsor, it's usually just a featured country where they bring in customs and recipes and dancing and all of that kind of stuff from those regions or countries that are featured. But it's the melting pot. This is the biggest. It's the biggest competition in competitive barbecue. and luckily for me, it's 60 miles away from where I grew up. And we, as children, my brother and I worked with our dad. We competed um, probably every year from the time that we were able to walk until like 1994, I think, was the last year that our dad's team competed. So this is a 20-year comeback reunion for us. It's a goal. It's an achievement for us to really just get in there and have a good time. Maybe try to win, but most of all, share the word and show people that Bitcoin is a force for good, and it is something here that's here to stay. We, you know, we're obviously big members. My brother too. I drug him into it a little bit. I'll be honest. I lost all of his bitcoins in like the first 2 months. He mined like 4 or 5 bitcoins, and I lost them because of terrible investments. I got sucked into HYIPs, whatever the hell those are. And then I found Gareth, and I found the big group, and we started getting a little bit more involved in, at the time, BTC Jam. I started, working really hard, becoming a big part of the community. I had to earn my way back in with respect to the community. For a while, I was in a position where I was borrowing and actually earning. But I've done quite a job of turning around the debt that I got myself into, and I'm thankful for the community. I've actually recovered 7 bitcoins lost, and right now I'm in the black. I've got several hashlets that have a value probably of around 3 or 4 bitcoins. So come full circle, I would say that I've learned a lot because of this group, and so this is something that I want to put into everyone's mind. Is big is more important than just trying to scope people out and make sure they're legit and trying to dig up dirt on people. Big is bigger than that. We're a group that this is our first foray into wanting to physically get together, have a good time, and do some good in the world. So this is very important, not only for mine and Michael's barbecue supply company, which accepts Bitcoins, and hats off to Greg, Don, Gareth, Dan, any of you guys that have bought barbecue sauce or spice in the past with Bitcoin. It showed to our partners that Bitcoin is a relevant currency. It really sealed the deal. The day that I started accepting Bitcoin, we had 2 or 3 orders come in all at once. So this is huge. This is huge for Mid-South Barbecue. This is huge for the Bluff City Barbecue Supply. It's huge for Big. It's huge for me and Michael. It puts us right back on the main stage where we used to be in competition barbecue, and it also allows me to sharpen my skills as a creative person, a media-driven, marketing-driven web designer, and I can't be more excited about this. So I would like to see if anybody, I know we have 2 viewers right now, so woo-hoo, 2 people other than the 3 of us talking.
Right.
I'd like to take some questions if people have them, or Greg, if you have some questions that you might want personally answered about what is a barbecue contest, how does it work, what does it mean, what do you do at a barbecue contest if you're a bystander or a guest. Lay it on me, and Michael and I will do our best to answer those types of questions if you've got some available.
Actually, I've watched a couple barbecue competitions, and my main question is, how do you choose your cuts of meat?
I'm going to let Michael answer that one because we've been well, let's just, Michael, lay it out there. Tell them about the Red Square Butcher. I'm going to mute out.
Okay, so honestly, since Lee and I were broke college students, and we kind of would hit competition here or there just to, kind of get back in the swing of things since we were little kids. Um, we we would just get our meat from anywhere. Like we, go to Sam's Club or whatever, uh, get a rack of ribs and Boston butts there, and their meat's not terrible. It's pretty good, but we actually won here in Jonesboro in 2010, little local contest here in Jonesboro. We won first place in pulled pork with Sam's Club Boston butts, and it actually it was the first coldest day of the year. Like it went from 80 that day down to 19 degrees, and we liked the pros, but we still came out on top with a win. So that's pretty exciting. But since then, we have kind of tried to sculpt what we're doing and make it better. Of course, that's what you always do. That's what you do with Bitcoin. That's what you do with barbecue. Things that don't work out, you want to make them better. So we've got a friend that knows this. Does he know Chris personally? Does Pete know Chris at the meat market? I believe so. Anyway, there's a little butcher shop in Mississippi that they do some really nice cuts of meat. They'll trim up your baby backs for you, get them ready for competition. So what you're looking for when you're doing competition, you want a little bit of marbling, but you don't want it to be super like thick, bristly, ribs or Boston butt. You want it to be trimmed down pretty well where it does have marbling, but it gets done when you want it to get done. So this year we went to Red Square Meat Market in was that Hernando? Yeah. And they trimmed us up some really nice ribs. I mean, they were so perfect, and like they looked really good. So we went with that, and we we didn't do as well this year in Jonesboro, which I was disappointed. But it made for some good ribs, I'll tell you that. We cooked about 6 racks of ribs, and they were gone in like 30 minutes.
Wow. Okay, so what do we do as a sponsorship group to help promote Bluff City and win this competition?
I'll let you take that one, Lee.
I think the most important thing is structure. Like Michael said, when we started cooking these competitions, we were children, and we worked alongside our dad as literally his hands and feet. My dad didn't get around too much. He had some health issues that basically he had broken his leg when he was 19 years old, and one of his legs, when they mended it back together with a steel rod, was actually like 3 inches shorter than his other leg. So he was physically handicapped when we were children, and so he had all the knowledge. Up here, and he made Michael and I do everything from light the fires to hauling the wood, hauling the charcoal. I mean, if we were old enough to lift more than 40 pounds, we were doing it. So we learned everything from the perspective of taking action and taking direction from somewhere else, but we probably didn't learn too much about structure how to how to manage the team, how to manage the crowd, how to manage the onslaught of questions from people that have never been to a barbecue contest before. We've kind of learned to manage that now. I mean, that's what we're what we're doing now with this. But we learned that hey, there's Eric Grill. Look at him, handsome devil. I like that his last name's Grill because we're talking about grilling right now.
Whoa, Lee, can I interrupt you for a minute?
Go for it.
Is there a big misconception between grilling and barbecuing?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what the Yanks say up there where you guys are from, but everybody
we grill. We grill.
That's
we don't
good.
do what you guys do.
I went to Boston, and my friend's like, yeah, we're going to have a barbecue. And I was like, dude, cooking hot dogs on a
gas grill?
On a gas grill or a knockoff Weber is not barbecuing, dude. If you're not cooking at least 13 pounds of meat for 6 to 8 to 12 hours, then no, you're not barbecuing. So, but anyway, as far as a team goes, the reason I've called people like Eric, Don, Gareth, Greg, I need help structuring the manpower, structuring the donations that come in. We need stuff like basically someone to help direct the other shit that goes on while Michael and I are trying to compete. Memphis in May is literally like a 3-day party on the Mississippi River, but there comes a time, and I'll tell a story to back this up, when quiet time comes in. And Michael knows where I'm going with this. Quiet time is when you have members of your team that aren't drunk yet, and they have to be the bouncers and tell everybody to get the hell out. I mean, there comes a time, and it's a fun, and it's probably like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but there comes a time when the teams have to cook and they have to compete. And having a team that can handle the riffraff, handle the crowds, field some of the questions, it's almost like having an entourage. Like it's like being a politician and having staffers that answer the questions for you or handle the situations for you. So building a team is key in one of these big competitions so that your cooks are protected. Chris Lilly, he's an 8-time, was it 8 now, Michael? 8? He's won the Memphis in May World Championship 8 times. And we used to joke around with him that he was the Lance Armstrong of barbecue. And now I joke around with him even more because he admitted to juicing his meat, which he injects Boston butts, which when we were kids, my dad was cooking. It was illegal. You could not inject any kind of moisture or any kind of marinade or anything into the meat when you're cooking. So I always gave him a hard time. But where I'm going with this is Chris has a support structure. He does what he does methodically, like a robot, every single time. And he never has to worry. He's like a doctor that never has to worry on the nurse, on whether or not the nurse or the assistant is bringing in the right tools for surgery. He never has to worry about that. So building this team, we're really building this for Michael. I handle a lot of the affairs. I do cook with Michael, and I do a lot of the serving and preparation and presentation. I'll be more than likely like a coach. When the team members are there, we're going to be coaching people on how to act when the judges are in the tent, what to say, what not to say, what to wear, how to look. Everything has to be perfect in a presentation. This is like a pageant, really, with barbecue involved. Although we're not judged on personal beauty, we're judged on appearance, presentation, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, this thing is, it's huge. The competition part is. But the 2 days before that, when everybody's getting slobber knockered and having a great time, that's when the magic happens. That's when the stories happen. I was talking about quiet time earlier. There was an instance in 1993, I believe. I was in the 5th grade. My dad bought an old Army surplus tent, and it was huge. One of those great big canvas tents that, you know, you can sleep 3 or 4 people in. And he was laying down, and somebody Skyped me. Sorry. I don't know where that came from. But anyway.
Or I'm getting them too.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they, I don't, so last time we did this with Gerald, I got questions from all over the place, so I'm trying to see what the last comment was. Hi, gents, I've got a meeting at 4, so I can't keep watching. Best of luck with the broadcast. That's Michael Price. Okay, that's cool. That's all it was. When we did this with Gerald, I had like 4 different instant messengers and Facebook up trying to field questions. It was a disaster. But anyway, long story short, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's drunk. Michael and I were there. There wasn't a barbecue contest as big as Memphis in May anywhere else in the United States. So when we would go with Dad to Memphis in May, we usually entered the whole hog competition. We're not going to do that our first go in Memphis in May. We're probably going to enter ribs because they're a lot easier to cook and they take a lot shorter time to prepare and cook. That being said, when you do a whole hog, you're up all night. It's a 24-hour process. I mean, literally, the cook time is 24 hours, give or take. If it's a smaller hog, maybe 18 to 20 hours you can get away with. And we're up all night. Most of the crowd has gone home. It's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. My dad had this gigantic bell hanging off the side. It had like a metal arch that went around, and then this bell hung from it. It was a huge brass bell that he stole out of an abandoned church in a little bitty farm town that we grew up in, and polished it up. Took a piece of Bird Eye, Arkansas with him to Memphis in May, and there was this. Was he deaf, Michael? The guy?
No, it was
Ed Couples, cousin Ed, Uncle Ed, whatever you want to call him. He starts ringing this bell, like really loud, just clang, 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 like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's loud. I mean, the whole park has gone quiet, and then here's Ed ringing this bell, and all of a sudden, like as loud as possible, you hear my dad scream at the top of his lungs. And my dad was loud, like really loud, like terrifyingly loud. If he yelled at you, like if somebody grabbed your spinal cord and shook you from within, like it was that kind of voice. And so he yells, "Quit ringing that goddamn bell," as loud as possible, and the whole park went silent. So after that, everybody left, and we got some sleep. It was awesome. So every year we do a barbecue contest. That's the thing. If you're with me and Michael, and you hear one of us say, "Quit ringing that damn bell," then you'll know that that's the story that we're referring to. Is basically what we're trying to say is, it's time to shut up, put up, and go home. You're drunk. It's time for us to really cook. So to answer your question, we need reliable people. We need good members, and I think that BTCtoast and Big and all of these avenues of recruitment are going to get us the kind of people that we want and need. So I'm asking any of you, and I know Eric can fly anywhere. Been trying to tell him, been trying to get him to fly into JBR and come pick me up for lunch one day. But you guys, yeah, I would love that. It would be awesome. I've flown out of that airport a bunch just because they have daily flights to St. Louis for like $35. But I feel like if we can get everybody, it's centrally located in the United States. For any of us that are from the United States, Memphis is a large international, not large, there's a large volume of freight traffic that goes through there, but it's an international airport, centrally located. It's one of the major hubs for 3 major airlines. So getting people here is the biggest thing, and I think that having Greg on the team helping us with logistics for hotels, for maybe for traffic and travel pretty soon, that's the biggest thing, is getting people here. But once they're here, we're going to need like a day, the first day, to get kind of set up. There will be a lot of us on the ground locally. There may even need to be a day or two that people come in a little earlier than the competition to help us get set up. So we're asking for help physically from local people, or as local as possible. But we're also asking for donations from Bitcoin. We're working on coming up with a tiered sponsorship process where basically $100 in donations. If we had all 200-ish members of Big donate $100 right now, we'd be covered. We'd have entry fee paid. We'd have enough money to buy meat for serving the public, meat for serving our guests, beer, alcohol, the whole 9 yards. So that's a pipe dream. I mean, that's easy math. If 200 people gave $100, we'd be a-okay. Not everybody's going to do that, but what we're thinking about doing is having $100 basically pay your dues to be, listed on a banner. If you want to come, you're more than welcome to be one of our guests. If you want to donate $100 but you can't make it, that's cool too. We're gonna, we'll take pictures, show people that you care, send out social media and all that, pictures of the banner, picture of the sponsorship, and all that kind of stuff. The next membership that we're thinking about is like a $500 level, so Bitcoin and a half-ish, somewhere in there, depending on volatility. If you can do something like that, you're going to be a member of the team. We would hope that, it'd be nice if you sent $500 and didn't come, but we want you there. If you sent $500 and you can get your hotel and all that taken care of. Now we're not including hotel fees or any of that stuff. We're just giving quotes. But if you pay $500, you have a spot on the team. Team member T-shirt. We'll probably comp you with some sort of product from Bluff City, like barbecue sauce or spice or something like that. And we would expect you to, if you come and be a member of the team, we would expect for you to go to the team training and all that kind of stuff. Let us tell you, kind of our game plan. Even help us get a game plan. If it's 1,000, 2,000, we don't really have tiered sponsorship levels just yet, but I'm thinking $500 is a good buy-in to be like a member of the team, a VIP or whatever you want to call it, to where you actually have some say-so and a little bit of power. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with that, but it's very gratifying, especially when we can take a team picture and it's a solid memory that we'll have, at least until next year or forever, or the next time that we do this. This could be something we do every year and basically get the word out for Bitcoin, have some fun on the Mississippi River. Hopefully nobody gets thrown over into the river in a porta-john like they did when Michael and I were kids. That was terrible, by the way. And just enjoy Memphis. Memphis has got Blues Barbecue. Tom Lee Park is a couple miles long. There's all sorts of people there. It's a watcher like me, it is like a buffet line when you go to Memphis in May. It's kind of like Mardi Gras, really, kind of like Lollapalooza or one of those big concerts when they do the Music Fest. But Memphis in May barbecue competition is like no other. You will see the weirdest costumes of people trying to dress like pigs that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to shut my mouth for a minute. I'm getting parched. So if anybody else has a question of how things work or what to expect if you're a bystander, I would be more than happy to help. Dead air is always good. Michael, you have anything you want to add about the competition itself, or any stories that you have? No worries, man. I guess to get things moving forward, we just maybe need to start some sort of a game plan. Michael, what do you need? Like, what if we're going to cook the ribs competition, and you could have anything you wanted, any kind of cooker, any kind of whatever, what do you need? Like, if we could sponsor just the rib part, just to get you in the door to cook, can you get us a list together of the things, your wants, your needs, that kind of stuff for this type of competition?
Yeah, so, you know, of course, I think we've got where to get the meat and all that stuff nailed down pretty well, but it would be very beneficial to have some of those really nice, efficient smokers, you know, stuff you don't have to worry about. Lee and I, we cooked on our dad's old whole hog smoker. That thing is a beast. It takes an entire forest and like probably a half-gallon of whiskey to keep it going, and you know, keep the cook marinated as well. So what we'd like to see is you know, just having some really nice, efficient equipment that we can be scientific with, and just, you know, do what we do and not have to worry about the elements. One thing I'll say about Memphis in May is it's usually raining, it's usually muddy, but that never stops the party. This past year was not. It was a very gorgeous weather. I went to see what was going on, and I don't know if anybody's ever been to the Memphis in May Music Festival. I've never been myself because I've always gone to the barbecue festival. It's usually a week or two apart, but there are some pretty nice bands that show up at the barbecue festival as well. But anyway, I think that's most importantly what I would need is something that's efficient, something we don't have to worry about the elements. We can just cook through the night, take that trophy home, and all celebrate.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, we always borrow our cousin Mark's rotisserie, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Sublet Manufacturing is a local Arkansas-based manufacturer. As a matter of fact, is just recently found out that the man's son was one of my good friends in high school. Didn't know that at the time, but the grill, just having something nice like Michael's talking about, something steady, something that's you know, not a lot of hassle, would be nice. So we may you know, we may open sponsorship up to a higher level. If someone wanted to sponsor buying some sort of a nice piece of equipment like that, we would use it at the competition, season it, get it nice and burned in and ready, and then send it on its way. That may be something that we do through Bluff City. We actually have manufacturers lined up, such as the Memphis Boilermaker Union local chapter there, and some other people like that. So, you know, we can get the grills if we need them. We've got plenty that we can borrow. Mark's not going to say no if we're going to Memphis in May and need to use his smoker. But it would be nice if we had something that, you know, we could say was sponsored by Bitcoin. We could, you know, manufacture on our own and be able to sell maybe a custom rig with some nice bells and whistles on it, maybe a custom logo cut out and welded on it or something like that. Or, if we raised a surplus and we were able to buy a rig that stayed with us for next year, that's fine too. The cost of the grill is actually relatively small compared to the cost of entry fees, the cost of hotels and lodging, the cost of food to produce for the masses, that kind of stuff. But it would be nice, and like I said, I asked Michael, what do you need, and he just wants something that he can use. I don't think you would have any problems at all if you had a sublet grill at Memphis and May. But that's neither here nor there. For now, we're just trying to get enough money together to make it there, and some of the stuff that we'll need. Obviously, that grill's important, meat's important, charcoal's important. All the resources that we need to make things comfortable, make things fun, that's all a part of it, and that's why we need a team. We'll have to start delegating certain tasks to people once we start allocating funding, and we're able to delegate tasks for, getting the party deck rented and things like that. So anything helps. Basically, we want people to be a member of the team. We'd love for everyone to show up. Send us $100, we'll give you a sandwich. $100 barbecue sandwich. That's kind of what my homeboy Banghouse was wanting earlier. He said, how many Bitcoins for a sandwich? I said $100 worth, because with food to the public for sale, we serve to our friends and guests of the team, and if people are friends or local friends, whatever, as long as we've got extra food left over, we'll probably cook each night. We'll serve as much as we can to the public to kind of get our name out there and brush shoulders with locals as well as international people that come from all over the world to Memphis and May. So yeah, we'll do fine. I don't have much else to say. Greg, if you want to chime in for a minute, if there's anything else on your mind, I would love to answer anything, or if it's something that Michael can answer from the cooking side of things, I'm sure he would be glad to help as well.
Well, actually, I just implore the Bitcoin community to get behind us in this effort, because the more we promote Bitcoin, the bigger the movement. The bigger the movement, the more they have to take us as serious as a currency. We can show that Bitcoin is more than just a myth. We've built a lot of businesses based on Bitcoins through the big group, and we'd like to help Bluff City get a boost and hopefully get into manufacturing their own rigs, so they too can have their name out there by other barbecue masters using a Bluff City grill.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's our dream.
And that's what I'd like to see happen.
So where do you guys want to take this from here? I think that I don't want to ruin Gareth's. I really want to thank Greg for jumping in last minute. Gareth texted me like 2 hours ago, said, I can't make it. I just got off the phone with Eric, and I'm really, really sick. I'll spare you guys the details, but he's not feeling so hot. But this interview was really done to promote BTCtoast and BIGreport. .io, and you can find it later on both blogs and on the big group, and we will do our best to keep you guys informed as things go along. Our rough goal is 200,000. Michael, how did you join the call twice?
I didn't mean to.
Oh, our rough goal is $200,000, not 200,000, 20,000. Sorry. Yeah, 200,000 would be amazing. We'd probably pay off some judges and win. $20,000. 200 people times $100. If you can give a quarter of a Bitcoin, let's do it. Let's make this happen. With anything helps.
To show my commitment, I'm dropping 1 Bitcoin.
There you go, 1 Bitcoin. That's amazing. If I didn't have loans tied up, I'd drop 1 Bitcoin too. Oh, and by the way, for all of you listening, this is set up to where Greg and I both have to sign to release any funds, so it's not like I'm going to run off with anything or Greg's going to run off with anything. We both have to sign off to make any kind of expenses from our account. We're using copay.io for two-factor authentication, but two-person authentication. So your money's safe with us. We're just trying to make this happen. We just want to convert this to fiat right at the right time and go and purchase all the things we need to make this contest happen. So I really wanted to thank Greg for his donation. I know right now I sound like a telethon for St. Jude, trying to get people to donate money, which, by the way, if you're not donating to St. Jude, then you need to screw off and go donate to St. Jude. That's a whole different broadcast for a different day. I've got a really good friend that was just recognized with national attention for her work with St. Jude through Chili's. So shout out Erica Hare. I know you're not really into Bitcoins, but hey, shout out to you because you're awesome. But yeah, if you guys want to wind this down, I'm okay with it. I know Gareth has some questions and he's going to hate that he missed this, but I'd like to leave it on a cliffhanger and let Gareth really start grinding on questions and asking me, for some personal stories. We're going to have more of a laid back kind of, maybe some beers over hangouts, and talk about barbecue in general, get into some recipes, some tips and tricks. We'll have Michael on the show for that. Greg, you're welcome to come back and do that. I know Don Cintron is a big griller, cooker, barbecuer, so he may want to jump in on that as well. I'd like to thank our one viewer for joining. I don't know who that is at this moment in time, but our one viewer. And if that person would private message me on Facebook and be honest, be freaking honest, I'll give you a $10 off coupon at BluffCityBarbecueSupply.com. So that's that. I'm going to sign off. We good? Greg, got anything else?
No. Talk to you guys next time.
All right.
I'm good too. I just wanted to thank Greg again for giving that donation. That's awesome. That's the first step in the right direction for this thing. So thanks a lot, man.
And Greg is now officially a team member. He already was anyway because he volunteered his time to get all the hotels. By the way, if you guys want to know where to stay, hit Greg up. He's already done all the research on hotels. I believe he's got 40 blocks set off, 40 rooms or something like that.
60.
Hey, Dan. Dan gets a coupon. That's Dan from us. So maybe he'll be a repeat customer. I'm going to send you I'll send you that coupon code here pretty soon. I'll have to set it up in the system, but I really appreciate you tuning in and getting the word out there. So, Greg, let's do this again, man. You're a pretty good host for a big orange blobby square.
Well, next time I'll wear a mask.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll call this a night. I'm going to go get something to eat. And if anybody has questions, they can PM me on Facebook in the group. And we'll see you then. Thanks.